on YouTube with the man with the plan, Defro Airsoft.
Hmm.
How you feeling? How you feeling tonight, man?
Man, I'm hot as shit. It is way too hot in Tokyo right now.
Guys, it is super hot in Japan right now. Um, we're gonna try our best to kind of keep this live up for about an hour or so. As you know, we both have very busy schedules, and Defro has been very consistent with the content. And that's the whole thing that we're trying to do right now is just be as consistent with putting out as much quality content as possible. And I must say, in reference to what I've been seeing out of Defro, um, awesome content that I think that it's going to be pushing the community forward and getting a lot of eyes towards airsoft. Man, it's awesome stuff to see.
Yeah, it was cool. It's amazing who's watching the podcast. So I had the founder of NSL on the podcast today, and
Wow.
he NSL is a new style of speed QB, which is basically more fun to watch because it has many more cameras. We're talking like there's cameras on the refs, there's cameras on the players, there's cameras on the field. So you can see every BB everywhere. Like it's the ultimate action replay. And I mentioned this in like a podcast a few months ago, and then the founder of the actual sport saw it, and then he reached out and said, "Hey, can I come on and talk about it?" I'm like, "Cool, that'd be great." And it's amazing the type of people I'm able to meet and talk to. It's amazing.
Wow. So you definitely feel like now that you can say that, well, safely say that the sport is slowly becoming more mainstream.
Um, it really depends on the country. Like in Japan, uh, airsoft will never be mainstream. I think Speed QB is definitely going to be more mainstream than Milsim and target shooting, like ISBT, uh, simply because you're not wearing military gear. You're just wearing, Under Armour, and your gun normally doesn't really look like a gun. it's Maybe it's running on HPA, maybe it's got tubes on it, maybe it's red and yellow. It looks like something from Call of Duty, from a video game. And I think that's much more accessible to the public and much more capable of being accepted because it's basically paintball. And paintball is already accepted as a sport. So saying something is like paintball or paintball version 2 is almost immediately acceptable by the public. But trying to explain what a military simulation is, I think that's always going to put the public off.
Yeah, it's. I think it's going to be polarizing. I
Yep,
think it's a good word to
guns
use.
do that. Also, sunglasses too.
Here we go, guys. And for those of you guys who want to know what are you wearing right now on your
Looks like
rifle?
you're wearing some. Are they crocodiles?
Me? Or
No,
you?
they're caimans.
Yo, holy whoa. Yeah,
No, they must be gators.
there we go. There we
I
go.
knew it was one of the three.
Check that out, guys. So these are actually the polarized Gators Magnums. Okay. Um, these are very good lightweight polycarbonate protective lens shades that you should be wearing overall. No, well, I would say it's a good option for anyone who wants to use lightweight eyewear for shooting. This was designed by the Navy, and these are American made. And believe it or not, these are bulletproof. Okay.
I don't know. Tama was saying the same thing about pit vipers the other day, and what is he looked on the website? It seems like they're bulletproof up to basically like a 22, and I want to see someone shoot them with a 22, and I want to see what happens.
Yeah. Um,
because these are not stopping 9 mil. They're not stopping 5.56. It might stop 22.
From what I was told about these specifically, that they have stopped 12 gauge. Um, I've never seen
What, 12
nine.
gauge bird shot? 12 gauge
There you go.
salt round? 12 gauge slug? It's not stopping a slug. It
Yeah,
might stop
it's
one of
interesting.
the BBs from birdshot. Sure, yeah, fine. Or it's stopping everything like in the shotgun shell. How does that work?
That's interesting, right? I think you know when it comes to marketing, right? Everything, especially reference to airsoft, when people use the word military grade, and pretty much like who's wearing it. A
Do,
lot of it
do
does
people
have.
actually understand what military grade means? Like military grade's like not great. Like military grade is the cheapest contract that the military was able to get. There was higher quality people, there was more expensive ones. This was literally the cheapest offer for the mass production that they got. So that's the military grade, the grade that was accepted.
Interesting. Well, so what do you think about SIG and Surefire getting military contracts?
I've always enjoyed SIG stuff, like MCX, MPX are great, but they really have like shot to prominence after the John Wick movies. You've got like SIG Spear, MPX, possibly, or I'm not sure if it's possible or not, but like in talks to replace the main battle rifle in the US. Um, I really like what SIG's doing with Airsoft. They're getting into licensing all their real stuff for Airsoft. That's fantastic. For Surefire, their lights are fantastic. They're expensive, but you get what you pay for.
Interesting, interesting.
Well, how do you feel about it?
Um, you know, and it's funny. I am wearing a SIG hat, right? So,
So you
um,
buy it.
there you go, man. And gear is gear. If you can run it and run it well and it runs efficiently, I think that's a very important thing, right? When it comes to specific gear, especially what's obviously what has a contract. Now we're talking about Surefire. Surefire's a reputable brand. They do make really good lights, really good tactical lights. The X300 is pretty much widely used by law enforcement all over the world, right? SIG in particular, when it comes to SIG, especially with the new SIGs, with the 320s, you could say it's kind of been like a mixed bag of potatoes, pretty much. On one hand, you have situations where they've been misfires, and that I've actually like literally seen these articles and watched these reports about FBI agents that have had firing um, mishaps or accidents where they've been shot by their own loaded SIG 320, right? And then on one hand, they say, well, okay, this particular sidearm got the contract due to modularity. If you ask me personally, I think that they are definitely better modular, you know, sidearms than the SIG 320. But when you look at what it beat what? It beat the Glock 19X. It beat the M9A3. So
Yeah,
when
I
you look
saw
at
some YouTube videos about it, but I don't have any first-hand experience with any of these handguns, so I can't really comment. Like, I'm
right,
Australian and in Japan, so it's quite hard to get handguns. So
yeah,
when I go to America, I'll definitely try some handguns out at the range. But unless I'm in America, I don't really have a chance to shoot real handguns, so I don't really have a lot of data to comment on.
well, for me, see, my first experience with handguns came from when I was in Jamaica. My cousin was a member of the Jamaica Defense Force at JDF, and also with the police as well, and I had a few um few family members also that have like their own private, little stash or setup. So, back in those days, well, even now, especially, revolvers were very popular, like Smith and Wesson and Colt. And with my cousin, when he was in the service, the FN, Browning High Power, which
Yeah,
they
that's
were
classic
also
one.
very popular in England too, as well. Yeah, is definitely the sidearm of choice. That like and a lot of
Wasn't
1911.
like Indiana Jones using a Browning high power in one of the movies?
I think so. Yeah, it's a system that has a huge, a very long, outstanding legacy. That and just like 1911s in general have a huge legacy. That's why 2011s are so popular right now in the shooting world, especially in competition shooting. There's so many guys that are pretty much have that long amount of training and pretty much trigger time on one platform, which translates it's kind of sort of to the up to date version, which just has a double stack, but has a wider grip, pretty much.
Yeah, basically, a 2011 is basically a double stacked 1911,
Basically,
or in airsoft, a high capper.
exactly. Which is you look at a high capper, right? That's kind of like the baseline of what people performance wise what they expect from an airsoft pistol, a high grade airsoft pistol. Um,
Especially in speed QB. Like for a speed
yeah,
QB, high capper is the meta.
absolutely, absolutely. I can think of maybe a couple of options that would be
Glock
somewhat
17
competitive.
and AAP are the two other contenders
I think yeah, definitely
because
that.
they have parts.
There you go.
They have all the parts. That's why.
Everything. Mind you, what I have in my bag right now, what I'm going to be running tomorrow is a Tokyo Marui Gen 3 base pistol with Paulson 507. Everything I literally swapped out every internal in the upper and my Sand Viper and my recent purchase, which is the AM, what is it, the AM 013 Aries Honey Badger.
Oh, you finally got your honey badger. Nice.
Finally got my Honey Badger. So
Going back to the Sand Viper and the Pit Viper, they're
yeah,
both just 2011s, aren't they? They're just fancy
yes,
2011s.
yes. Very, very fancy, but also very functional 2011s based on what a lot of people think.
Yeah,
Or
they're
what
just
design
heavy as
positions.
hell, so they have zero recoil.
Yes. Even the airsoft version, um, well, the one that I have from Army, it's the they say well the compensator is like more for aesthetics, but for me, um, like you can
You don't
definitely
compensate.
feel, yeah, you can feel a response, bro. I mean, it's gas, but you can still feel a response. And we're not using green gas, right? We're in Japan, obviously, so we're using you know,
Dusty gas.
right, 134. But at the end of the day, um, that's still a very just a certain portion of the slide that's reciprocating.
Hmm.
The rest is very stable. So it's kind of like the Costa. If you've seen some of the recent Costa training videos from Area, it's sort of working in your hand without shifting too much. So it's easier to sit on target.
Yeah, I saw you using your Viper at 41 and seemed to be doing quite well.
That
Uh,
was that was the
the
Costa.
only thing I noticed was that you just need you need a tracer. You can't play CQB without a tracer.
That's the thing. So that 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 gun that I shot in that training video wasn't the Stand Viper. It was the Costa Carry Comp, which is the airsoft version of the STI release of Chris Compa's STI release. STI is the company that used to be Staccato, but is now Staccato. Uh, but that's that one we have with the what's it called? The beige or not OD. The tan tree bark stippling on the grip. Yeah, that's the Chris Costa. That pistol, believe it or not, it does not have a thread, but the Sand Viper has a thread, so I can run a tracer on my Sand Viper.
Nice. Definitely do it. It makes games so much more fun.
Yeah, yeah. And plus, it's funny. For the CQB videos that I do, make with the Sand Viper, a lot of people really like the up close kill. So those shorts did really well a while back. So we'll be looking to hopefully, get some good sequences in tomorrow indoor as well. My only writ against that particular system, not even just that, but army pistols in general, and it's just kind of a situation that we have to deal with, dealing with the weaker gas is when the temperature does drop in that magazine, the performance does tend to dip a
Oh,
little
it
bit too
can't
much.
be used if it's like 15 degrees or less outside. Just you can use mag warmers on your pouch, and that's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. So the whole and the thing is, it's very heavy, even with
Do
with
you
the
use mag warmers?
yes. Well, yeah. I've seen guys use
Oh no, like do you have them? I can hook you up because I'm not using mine, and
really.
it's just a 3-stack mag warmer. It connects into a USB battery, and then it keeps 3 green gas pistol magazines hot for the whole day.
And that's for pistol, like Glock sized or 2011 size
All
magazine,
pistols are basically the same size.
except for Desert Eagle magazine, which I do
That doesn't get classed as a pistol magazine.
have.
That's always just a Desert Eagle magazine. But Desert Eagle doesn't fit any holster except a Desert Eagle holster.
I have some funny Desert Eagle stories. I'm gonna take my Desert Eagle out when I go back up. I'll probably
Do
just
you have
run
twin Desert Eagles like me, or are you just using one?
just one,
Oh,
one
okay. You're
custom
one of
Desert
them.
Eagle. Yeah.
For me, it's twin Desert Eagles or nothing.
Actually, I got shot by twin Desert Eagles here in Aichi. Like literally, it was a Hexera, one of the last Hexera games I played before I moved to Osaka, and then after that to Tokyo. But I got shot by two Desert Eagles at once, and I wanted to quit.
Yeah, there's when we were playing in the hotel, there was someone that made a CO2 Desert Eagle into like a carbine, which was
Yeah,
quite interesting. But yeah, mine are just stock, and they shoot like 70 MPS. They're not great, but they're fun to rock up on someone with, and the blowback is enjoyable. It's similar blowback to a CO2 pistol, but after you've been running CO2, you don't really need to worry about temperature that much,
right.
except if you're playing in like 0 degrees. Because when I was playing at Battle in Chiba, like around New Year's time, it was 0 degrees, and all my CO2 guns were just not firing. They'll fire like 1 or 2 shots, and then they'll just eject all the CO2 or something, and they were
In
just
the
not
winter.
reliable. But as soon as it got a little bit warmer, they were fine. But it
Wow.
seems that also my electric guns died on the same day. I had a LiPo, just a 7.4 LiPo in my MP5,
Yeah.
and that just refused to work. It was just too cold for that gun to work. So, yeah,
Wow.
it seems like 0 degrees is not great for duster gas, green gas, CO2, or LiPo.
That's interesting. Speaking of which, I saw a um a Desert Eagle variant that was on sale. Um,
Was it the Biohazard one, or was it the
no,
Long Boy?
this was, I think it was a KWA CO2 Desert Eagle. I'm not familiar
Okay,
with KWA Desert
what's that?
Eagle.
Can you describe it to me?
So it's basically it's a silver Desert Eagle. Like I think it's called like a Mark 6 or something. Um, it's a silver Desert Eagle, there's a CO2 Desert Eagle with, and the top, the upper portion of it, the part of the slide that doesn't move, another slide, the barrel itself, the top of the barrel is a Picatinny rail.
Okay, yeah, I think was that WE makes that?
I think WE has a version, but this one was, it was KWA, and I saw it. I was this close to buying it on Amazon, and it has a fully auto feature on it. But a fully auto on a CO2 Desert Eagle, bro, that's ridiculous, right?
I wouldn't bother. Have you tried full auto CO2?
No,
Doesn't work. It's scientifically impossible to work.
really.
I don't remember the name of the scientific principle, but basically the difference between HPA and why HPA is better than CO2 is CO2 refers to when you store air in the liquid form, and HPA refers to when you store air in the air form. So when you shoot HPA, you're simply transferring the air in the tank to the air in the gun. So it's air to air. So literally, you can think of it as like you're holding a balloon, and then you're just opening the nozzle of the balloon, and power's coming out. Right? So it doesn't matter how fast or slow you do this, you're still going to get consistent streams. So you can do semi, you can do burst, you can do full auto, and as long as there's air in the tank, it's going to come out. But when you've got CO2, it's a liquid. And to convert the liquid into the air, you need energy. And a byproduct of the energy is a cool down effect. So the faster you shoot CO2, the colder the CO2 becomes. That's why the CO2 canisters or like the CO2 mags get so cold in your hands. Now, if you just fire semi like pop, 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 and you drop 20 rounds, you're fine. Sorry, give me 1 sec. I just need to.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
I think that worked.
Hey, you're good. I can hear you.
All right. But when you're using CO2 and you fire really quickly, the cost of transferring the energy makes it really, really cold. And basically, you can only burst fire on CO2. You can fire like 3 or 4 shots in full auto, and it's perfect. But then after that, it slows down each time until the magazine just shits itself. And I've got a CO2 MP5, and I can't mag dump on it. Like if I try to mag dump, it's going to just pierce and shit itself before it finishes the magazine. But if I do like 6 bursts of 5, it's fine. It's absolutely crisp, and it feels very similar to firing a real MP5. Like it's got that perfect trigger response. It's got a little bit of recoil. It's absolutely beautiful. But CO2 is not designed for full auto, so get CO2 if you want to do DMR. Get it if you want to use pistols. Get it if maybe you want to burst. But if you want to mag dump people, if you want to light people up, if you want that fun, if you want that, what is it? That fun switch? No, CO2 is not for you.
Especially the broken parts factor with CO2, which is not fun.
Oh, it's expensive. Like Teddy's had that MP5 now for 2 months, and I'm still waiting for it back. So, Teddy, if you're listening,
is that the Baton MP5?
I've got the SRC MP5. They might be related to Baton. I'm not sure. I have seen SRC and Baton in the same sections of Airsoft stores. Right. I'm not sure of the relationship between the brands.
I literally don't trust anything that Baton makes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you saw my staccato. Like I had my new staccato for Christmas, and then when I brought it to like the first game we played together, it kept misfiring. So yeah, looks fantastic, great recoil, but unreliable.
What was the lifeline on my staccato? All right, so let me think. I got mine, I think, yeah, it was June of 2021. And it officially died, I think, when did it really, like it died in June, I think it was June, yeah, June of 2022. Like literally a year after. And it was like a slow death. Like it was like documented. I made videos, like all of like my viewers that watched when I got the gun, when I did the first set of videos with the gameplays, like they saw just this it's like I don't want to compare it to, I'm not gonna mention terminal illnesses, right, on this live. But you get the point. It was a downhill spiral, right? Um
Yeah. And I only like experience this stuff with non-Marui stuff. I have
yeah,
Marui stuff that's over 20 years old. Like I have an M92F I bought in 2005 when I arrived in Japan, and
wow,
it's still fine. It still
wow,
works.
that's
And
quality.
that's 20 years old. And it still works the same as the day I bought it. I don't use it. I don't maintain it. I don't oil it or clean it. And it still works. It's still fieldable. I don't like it. It's got a really, really long trigger pull, but that's basically the same as the real gun. But you buy these like Taiwanese pistols and stuff, and man, my
Jesus.
carbonate, brand new carbonate, lasted 3 months before the handle shattered. And then I took it to the store, and they kind of laughed at me, and they're like, "Yeah, they do this." I'm like, "What?"
You know,
I'm like, "Can you fix it?" And they go, "Sorry, we can't fix it because like the thread for the screw is broken, so there's no way it can be repaired. So you need to glue it." But I'm like, as an airsoft store, as the specialists on how to repair this, you're advising me to use glue. They're like, "Yeah, just go to Daiso. They sell some glue. You can fix it." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I came here for a more elegant solution."
Oh my God, I'm sorry. That's just
But
you
instead,
absolutely
I'm like, I'm not going to glue it. So I just wrapped it in really big, like industrial, what do I call it, rubber bands. And now I get like this extra grip on the grip, which is really nice to hold. And it's secretly holding everything in place. So it's the best of both worlds.
man, that's interesting. Mine still works. Um, I got my DOC in 2021, and still it performs. Not knock on wood, it still performs really really well. And I attribute that because when I got mine initially, I think it was the branch. I'm not branch. I'm sorry. The batch that they sold that had the reinforced slides after the first set, the ones that they had that were cracking, and then these ones that one of the ones that I got had the warranty in the box, and and also the slide itself, the internal part of the slide, you can tell was definitely reinforced. In addition to that, Fortress makes a guide rod. I don't know if you know about this, for carbonate specifically, the DOC and the also the MEU, the black version. And the guide rod has shock absorbing technology that actually mitigates the damage from the recoil
I don't
on your.
want that. I want the damage. I want the recoil. That's what I buy it for.
I mean, in terms of saving the gun, but
Oh,
not
okay, yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's
not
useful.
right. Like yeah, like not. I'm not talking about like lessening the. It's not like a recoil softener or anything like that. Basically, it saves some of the internal parts. So I've had that part in the pistol now for about 2 years, and internally, there's a little bit of wear on the back part of the spring, but it's natural because it recoils so hard. And also the inner barrel is also a custom inner barrel. So you saw how accurate the inner barrel was when we shot at ops. I was able to get kills at like 30 or 40 meters. Um,
Yeah, both of our pistols were going really far at ops. Like you saw my
Yeah,
M17, like
yeah,
that was outranging some rifles.
which is insane, man. That's insane.
But still, like it's no fun sniping people with pistols. Like just rocking up on people point blank and like shooting 3 rounds because 3 rounds is fair. Shooting people 3 times, I feel, is the bare minimum that you need to shoot people because,
If they
well, at
acknowledge
base
it.
point it was the max. You weren't allowed to shoot people more than 3 times. So that's what I trained at. So as soon as I see anyone, I always hit them 3 times because cheaters and
Right.
anyone can. If you shoot someone, like I have bad groupings. Like I'm not grouping like this. I'm grouping like this. So if one hits your plate carrier, the next two are hitting your neck. Or if one hits your belt, the next two are hitting your love handles. You're feeling one of them. But when you just fire one BB at people, like it's really easy just to hit the pelters or hit the armor or something and they don't feel it. But if you have a very inaccurate 3 round grouping like me, people call their hits. It's great. How about you? What's your how many times do you shoot people?
Well, it depends on the situation and what I'm running. It as you saw at 41 with the one video. I got that guy pretty close to that with a UMP. Not UMP. I'm sorry, the
You
US.
shot people quite a few times in the 41 footage.
And it was
Well, they don't really have overshooting rules there. They can't say like you can only shoot people 3 times. It's just don't purposely overshoot people. But if they're not calling it, you can keep shooting them. And so I don't want to talk about cheats at Area 41. It always puts me in a bad mood.
me generally because I train a lot more pistol than I do rifle, and most of the training videos that I do make, and those of you guys that want to check that out, you can go and check out the some of the Hexera training vlog videos on the training um, playlist. I train with a lot of 1911s. My main training 1911 is the RWA Covert Ops that is from Red Wolf Airsoft. Shout outs to Mark, who used to work at Red Wolf.
Yep, Mark West.
Mark West. Yeah, I watched his Nighthawk video so much, man, and when he was at Red Wolf, and those videos were just so cool. He was one of the main reasons why I ordered the Warhawk when it came out a few years back. And I don't know if you know about the Warhawk, but that is a very solid 1911.
Yeah, you told me about it at a game a few months ago.
I think so.
Um,
Yeah.
if you want to meet Mark, are you going to come to what is it? What's that big thing that's really important? Um,
Is that
wait,
peace survival?
who makes what company makes Chris Vector? No, it's a dumb question.
Crytek, Crytek.
Crytek, that's right. It's the Crytek owners meeting. Are you going to come to that?
I heard about that.
That's his thing.
That's the one. I think Mayday went to that event last year or something like that, right?
Yeah, and all the YouTubers came over from America. So like random guy Kev, none of that.
Right.
USA Airsoft, like a lot of big names came over for it.
When is that? That's in the fall, right?
It's in the fall. I think September, October. Yes.
Ah man, it depends on my schedule.
Do you have a Crytek?
No, I don't.
You need a Crytek to get in. So save up a little bit of money, buy a Crytek, secondhand, and you can come. It could be a good networking opportunity, and you get to meet Mark.
That listen, that'd be really cool. I think he's in America right now too. Shout out to him, man. I mean, he's a cool guy. He likes some stuff on Instagram. Man, he's a cool Instagram friend.
I like Mark. He was like the first celebrity that came on the podcast.
And that too. That's what I really, really appreciate. And I was really happy
That was
about
like
that.
the longest podcast. That was like 3 hours. Like me and him talked for ages. Like really cool guy.
Awesome. I enjoyed that episode too. That was a really good one. You know.
Yeah. he just has like a really good vibe about him. He's really easy to talk to, really knowledgeable about airsoft, and he's just has like to quote the what are they, Gen Zers, the kids younger than us. He has a good vibe.
100%. But yeah, when it comes to Crytek, there's a couple of things that they make that has piqued my interest.
They
The
make
vector
M4s.
make M4s mainly, right? I have a lot of M4s now, dude. I got the Aries now. I got the Honey Badger, which is another variant, and I have the CQB R. Is
I
it
think you got
CQB?
an MWS somewhere.
I got a few of them, right? I'm actually thinking about switching the handguard for my NWS to a Geisley. I don't know if I want to do it or not. If I want to change the outer barrel. The inner barrel right now is custom with um completely customized chamber unit from Lilacs Prometheus, which enables me to hop my BBs out like 40 or 50 meters all the way out. So you saw in some of the the most recent um M4 gameplay that I put out from Ops when I did have that particular MWS with me that day. When it was working, when I got it to work, I was able to shoot pretty far.
Yeah, because I remember when we were shooting the video about comparing our M4s, like I brought out mine to show you the speed, and then you had like a Mayday-esque situation where you had a mag purge. Like, if you remember anything about playing with Mayday, it was just non-stop mag purges. Anytime he had a gas rifle, it was mag purging. When he was playing with his Type 89, just mag purge for days. Uh, when he was bringing his Mark 18 into the hotel, anytime we asked him for cover, he had a mag purge. I think I saw his footage once. He had like 3 mag purges in a row or something, and it's like, man, it's not great.
It's gas,
But
man.
Mayday, what was up with that?
It's gas. No, it's a gas situation. Running gas is hard, dude.
Like
Like
my gas magazines don't have a purge for my pistols. Is it only a thing for assault rifles?
uh, you know, running the NWS is very very tricky. Even when I ran my Mark 18 at Black Box, I had to make sure that I had to pre-warm the magazine for about 15 minutes, like before I started running it in the game. Um, when I initially tried
They've got
it,
mag warmers there though, so it's fine. They got like that dishwasher thing you put
yeah,
stuff in.
but it's very thin, right? I like the ones. I prefer the dishwasher. So you know what I'm talking about. I mean the dish dryer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, you can turn it up and then put the cover on, and then when you take that out, that magazine, if you don't overheat it, is going to be warm enough to do what you need to do. The thing is, if you overheat it, especially with pistols, and you have a custom piston head, for example, in your hop up unit, it can cause a rupture in the O-ring, which can jam your gun. That actually happened to me before, where I had to well not replace the O-ring, but shift it back into place. That happened at a recent game at well, you know, an area with a custom high capper that I had built and I had to sort of fix that little problem. But it's just one of the situations with gas, man. With gas is just is tricky. You can run it in the summer in some places. Sometimes it runs really, really well, and then when it craps the bed, that's exactly what it does. It
Yeah,
sounds
that's why I
good.
don't run gas. I'm just CO2 and lipo.
Yeah, yeah. CO2 is CO2 is a
Slightly more reliable, but it's got more recoil, and that's what I'm about.
right. CO2
I
definitely
need
is.
more reasons to miss people.
There you go. I've been I love using my DOC when I do run it. And when I train pistol, like I said before, I train. CO2 only. So I use my Nighthawk 1911s, my Covert, and my Warhawk. I run them as CO2 only, non-skirmishable training tools.
Non-skirmishable? Really?
Well, there's a reason for that.
Understood.
Yeah. The specs for both are on Red Wolf's website. I do have a video, training video and a review video for the covert ops that was on my channel, but I had to take it down due to monetization issues last year. So
Yeah,
I
you had
can't.
an issue with that, but now you're back through monetization. You're making money on your channel. You're getting some views, so it's you know you passed that hurdle.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about um that footage may be in cyberspace somewhere. I might re-upload it or just make some brand new because I actually have gameplay with it. Some early footage, but I won't be making any new actual skirmishable gameplay with it. But I might train with it. But guess what? Yeah, if you want to see it, I actually have a lot of training videos with it up on the platform. If you check Hexera Trinity Vlog 12, I run it in and out of a car as well. A bunch of other videos too. I've used it a lot. Other than that, I have a V10 Ultra Compact, which is from Double Bell, which is very small, but very, very good. Accuracy wise, at 30
Yeah,
meters,
double bell is. Yeah,
it's like this, right? But I tell you what, in CQB, it's not half bad. Not
yeah,
half bad,
everything's fine in CQB. If you're 1 meter away from someone, it's hard to miss.
basically, right?
That's how I play. That's how I don't miss in CQB. I'm putting the gun in your mouth. I actually saw I did that once when I was looking at some Brave Point footage, and
Really?
I went around the guy from the back and I hit him like 3 times. One was like point blank in the back of the neck, then one in the cheek, and then like his mask went up a little bit, and I put it like under the mask. Like,
Hey, hold on a second. Was that one with the where you had the night shift?
yeah, that was probably at the night shift, and
Yeah.
that's just where everyone was like just cheating that day, so everyone was just getting
Bro, you
really
have no
butthurt,
mercy.
and things were
You have
escalating.
no mercy, bro.
No
I
one was
see,
calling hits. It was bad.
dude.
But the
I see.
footage was fun to watch because, like, each time I shot him, it was pitch black, and it would light up each time he got shot with the tracer. I was like, "This is great! It's very cinematic." And he called all of those shots, but I got 3 shots, so I took all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And when I was looking back that day, like, there was like 3 times where I just like ran up on someone and just triple tapped them point blank, and that guy got 2 of like the really nasty ones where um I just like got into his cover and lit him up. And then when I was looking through all the footage, I actually noticed that like one of my favorite shots is where I just pop out of nowhere and just take someone out right in the middle of their forehead, which was just above their glasses and just below their hat, in that perfect little sweet spot. And the guy then like freaks out. He does a spin and stuff like that, and he's holding his head. It was the same guy. It's like the same guy just
I was
just
screaming.
ate it like 3 times that day. So I understand why I'm not allowed back.
Yeah, bro. I think that footage got out.
Well, I kept putting it out because it was great, but I'm not allowed back, and I don't think you want to go back because it's not that much fun.
That's I don't know who. Somebody asked me about Breakpoint the other day, and I told them I don't know if I'm banned or not. I forgot. I was in
You're not bad.
somebody's message board. I just I
If you make a reservation and they say no, you're banned. That's how you know.
okay. It's interesting stuff. For those of you guys that are checking in, we got Defro here, really cool. Um, just overall really relaxed convo. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the like button as well. And if you haven't, if you're brand new, don't forget to check out Death Row Airsoft on all platforms, social media platforms.
Yeah, I'm easy to find.
Check him out on
Except on the
YouTube.
field, because I'll be hiding somewhere.
There you go.
Right behind you. Yeah, I don't understand how I can sneak up on people. I am so big and I am so loud. But I still like sneak up on people all the time. It doesn't make sense.
It's so rewarding.
It's so rewarding. And then like you want to surrender people, you want to get knife kills, but you're not allowed to in Japan, so you have to shoot people point blank. It's like, can't I just knife kill him? It's like, no, that's against the rules. Can I just tap him? No. Can I ask him to surrender? No. You have to shoot him. And I was like, all right, seems unnecessary. And if I'm saying it's unnecessary violence, it's bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah. Yeah, it's rules, right? That's the thing about Japan. Playing in Japan, I always get so many questions about what the gameplay styles are and what they allow. Somebody was in my comment section for one of the recent uploads from.
It's
Uh,
so field by field. There's no standardization.
yeah,
There's
and
the only standardization is that every gun is below 1 joule. Apart from that, it's field by field. There's no MED, and there's basically no bang bang.
right,
But there is so many differences on ricochets. There's so many different rules on ADS. So some fields will be you can't hip fire. Some will be you can only fire when you're ADS. Some will be you can only fire with ADS and target acquisition. There's so many different levels and nuances to the rules. Some will be what is it? Some will say pre-firing is okay. Some will say pre-firing is not allowed. Some will say it depends on the vibe of the players. There are so many variables that you really need to learn all the rules at the field before you play. Otherwise, you're going to have a misunderstanding. That's what I found in East Japan. What have you found in West Japan?
man. West Japan, I'll be honest with you, is like as I mentioned to you before in the very first video we ever did with Mayday. It's like the Wild West. It's like the Wild West when it comes to rules. When I played out in Osaka, Kansai, Nara, especially with the indoor fields, every particular field you're gonna find out is a different vibe. Aichi, more or less, they have certain rules that sort of condition the game to a point where everyone can enjoy it, and it's also very competitive. And
That's
the
good.
players, yeah, the players that play the game generally are good at the game. And the thing I like about it is that, it's low key in a sense where they're so good and you will never know who these people are because a lot of them, they're not on its social media and they're just like the silent killers. Every single time, whenever you see them, you know you're going to war. And it was the same thing where we had those one versus one tournaments at Hexeras and we did Gunfight Cup. The first one was very competitive, very difficult. And then we did 2-on-2 gunfight, and then we did the 2.0. And the same guy that won the first one won the second one. And we had podiums and gifts and trophies and shout outs to David, runs Hexeras and the Hexera Airsoft Arena family. They put together a very competitive event. I don't think at the time that when they did it, anybody else ever did it, and when they did do it, it was done. It was done very well, and it was very competitive. Just to kind of set that aside. Um, I didn't do a whole lot of Milsim stuff, even though I get a lot of questions about Milsim now.
There's
Not
no
gonna
real
lie.
milsim in Japan.
Yeah, but you know what it is that they see us playing in the woods,
It's
and
woodland.
right, and then
That's it. It's a
me and
woodlands
some
man.
Milsim. Yeah.
You can't have a milsim without a military. Japan. I know it's that's basically it. Like, sure, Japan's got the self-defense force, but you
Yeah.
milsim works in America because there's a giant military presence. You can go to old military bases, there's decommissioned vehicles that they have. They have helicopters, you have tacticals. There's 1,000 people in the match, and they take 2 days, 3 days. Japan doesn't have that. Japan, you go to airsoft 9 to 5, or you go. If you're doing indoor, you're just going to play 4 hours. If you play outdoor, you're going to do about 8 hours. It's like your shift at work. It's 9 to 5. If
basically.
you do a night game, you might be doing 5 till 10. But those are the basic games they have, and I've seen one or two milsims, but the milsims that I saw in Japan, it was just a 48-hour game of airsoft on a regular field. There was no milsim. Like the bare minimum for milsim is you need kit requirements. So basically, this team can wear anything multicam or green, and that team can wear anything black, or that team can wear anything tan. Like you have to have the restrictions in place where you don't need to wear colored bands on your arms to identify yourselves. And when you can't even enforce that, like it's not a milsim. Also, for a milsim, like you have to bring your gear with you. You need to walk. You need to be able to explore the terrain. If you're just playing in the local field, but just running around in circles for 2 hours for 48 hours, it's just exhausting.
So it's a weird concept. Somebody actually approached me. No, somebody actually approached me about I don't know if they meant milsim. Milsim was used in the word when I was given the invite, and it was from, interestingly enough, the guy who did the translation at one of the trainings that we had at Hexeras in 2020. About the year after I joined Airsoft, I started doing Airsoft, and that guy was a translator, and I played with him at Black Fox this year, early in the year, and he kind of gave me a kind of invite, sort of invite, to some events that they do have, I don't know, in the mountains somewhere or something like that. But you heard it from Stu, and he's been here longer than almost everybody. So
Well, what you do have though is great private matches. And I'm not going to call these milsims because they aren't at the level of American milsims. But you can get these amazing private games. So there's you go to Tuskegee, there's an abandoned quarry that you can play in. You go
yeah,
down to Shonan, there's an abandoned power plant you can play in. And when you organize like a 10 on 10 or a 20 on 20 game there, where it's all your friends, you can set up something that's like it's kind of like more of a skirmish than a milsim, but it's still so much better than just a pickup game or just a public game. And it's much better just for YouTube and for photos too, because the backgrounds are amazing.
there you go.
But I think the closest thing Japan has to milsim is sabapara, because sabapara, like according to Dan, like they have tacticals, they have vehicles that they use to um, deploy from at the start of the game. They have the ability to call in airstrikes, and stuff like that is kind of like the building blocks of a milsim.
That's
So
interesting.
I'd say Sabapara is the best way in Kanto to play milsim,
All right.
or
So
the closest proximity to it.
for those of the fans who have questions about that type of gameplay, um, Death Row Airsoft just answered your question. Okay. So please take special note of that. And if you're watching this live, hopefully, and if you go back and you see that gameplay, whether it's on my channel or on Defro's channel or anybody else, Mayday, whoever, just kind of keep that note, keep that in mind. For me, I didn't play any Woodland until I started playing with you guys. The whole thing, and it was funny. Even Mason had mentioned it before, right? Was just that um, I wasn't playing outside, right? I think the first game where anybody saw me outside was at Peach, which is sort of, I wouldn't really call it outside. Like you're outside, but you're
It's
not.
like an urban field, right? It's like
Right. It's not.
a, a
It's
building and the area around the building. So it's an urban field.
basically, but you do have a little bit of distance. You have cars, so it's kind of like playing like Call of Duty Modern Warfare in like one of those favela maps or something. If that makes sense. Where you have your lower area, you have some cars for cover, you have some vegetation, you have a tree, so you have like a good mix of terrain, but essentially, you're working indoor and outdoor, and the indoor part of it, just because of the angle and the lighting and different things like that, does make that element a little bit more difficult. But nonetheless, you do have those outdoor elements where you're engaging someone at 30 meters and they have you pinned behind a car, which that happened to me. And let me tell you something, that wasn't fun. It was fun, but not fun if you're playing competitive. But you get the idea. There's like that mix there. So if they had something like that, I think, how would that do in Kanto? I think it would do well
We
because
have fields like that in Kanto. There's lots of urban fields. Tenku is very similar to that.
no,
Um,
Tenko. No, listen. I mean, just from my experience that I've seen so far, Tenko
have you
and
played Tenku?
yeah, I played with you guys in May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Um.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You were wearing all black. Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
you go.
We couldn't see you in the bushes,
There you go.
just invisible.
There you go. Man, bro, I still have to edit that gameplay. I have the
Yeah, me
drone
too. I didn't
footage.
get many kills that day, so I kind of just left that gameplay. I've got tons of gameplay I haven't even
Yeah.
uploaded yet because I'm like, it's not worth going through.
that-
Unless
that-
I get like a cool kill streak or something, I'm just gonna leave it.
I think we did good. I think we did good. It was it's not so
You
much.
need a scope cam at Tenku because you're engaging at 30, 40 meters for every kill.
Yeah, that's the
Your
thing. So
GoPros are useless there.
man, I have so much footage of me shooting full auto, and it's like you don't even see what I'm doing. You're right. So I have a run cam now. I'm going to be using it. I'll use it tomorrow at Hexeris for like the long range
You
indoor stuff.
don't need it at Xera.
No,
You don't need it for indoors. It doesn't work indoors.
you're right. So I want to just like green.
I tried bringing mine to Black Fox. It's pointless. Like,
I saw that video. You had it on a pistol, right?
yeah, I had it on. That was like the day after I bought it, so I wanted to try it, and
That's
it
right. That's
was
the same feeling I
useless.
got. Yeah. Yeah, I think I literally have it. It's charging like literally what, maybe right there on my table. So I'm
Basically, like if you want to use a scope cam well, here's the trick. Number one, get a stock. If you don't have a stock, you can't use a scope cam. The second thing is if you have
stop
a
on
scope cam,
on the
you can't
actual
use it.
gun.
You have to know where the target is. You need to have the scope cam on the target for about 3 seconds, then fire, and then move it off them, and then it'll look really nice on camera. But if you're doing this with the scope cam, it's going to look like hot garbage. So when you're ambushing players, a scope cam is beautiful. When you are assaulting players and rushing an objective, it's absolute trash because it's bumping up and down everywhere, and because you're zoomed in so much, it's terrible. But if you've got the stock on, if you're controlling your breathing, you know where the players are, you found them, you shoot them, you see them go down, you get that confirmation, then you lower the gun, it looks great. And if you can't do that, don't bring it to the game.
So basically, what you're saying is, depending on how you move, one looks like a hunting expo, and the other one looks like a colonoscopy.
Basically, a colonoscopy might be more fun to watch though than janky, janky footage.
Colonoscopy
Yeah,
check.
and that's a good message to anyone that's getting around 40. If you're getting around 40, get a colonoscopy. They're about $300 in Japan. Dude, I had one a few weeks ago. They're terrible, but you have to get them done.
Really?
I don't recommend it, even though I just recommended it. But for health reasons, do it. But it's about someone.
Oh man.
I'm 39, so yeah, you have to kind of do it around that age.
That's interesting. I'm 32
Not
now.
fun, but necessary. All right, man. I think that's a terrible topic to end the podcast on.
Yeah. 100%. But anyway, man, listen. Awesome stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to putting out some awesome footage. What do you have that's gonna be coming up releasing relatively on the page? What are you working on right now?
At the moment, I'm kind of working on TikTok, so I trying to upload 3 times a day to TikTok to boost the numbers and try to get some followers. I
Right.
was really happy this week because for the first time, the amount of people following me is higher than the people I'm following, and I'm getting more and more people follow me like each day. Like I checked my um, stats like on Friday or something, and there's like 5 or 6 people followed me on YouTube, which is pretty normal for a day. I got like 1 follow on Instagram because Airsoft is just banned everywhere. And then I got like 48 follows on TikTok. I'm like, oh, that's a number I haven't seen before. So it seems like TikTok has eased the restrictions on Airsoft that they had like 6 months ago. And it seems like TikTok, and I've seen you've been dumping a lot of content on the TikTok as well. So it seems TikTok might be the new home of Airsoft because Instagram hate us.
Yeah. I had my TikTok a while ago, or years ago originally.
Well, half of yours is BJ Day.
Yeah, so a lot of it is just some of my old grappling content, some of my old drills that I did from before that I posted. Because my this channel originally was just vlogging and jiu-jitsu. And then once I got into airsoft and my first ever airsoft related video was a review on the VP9, which my VP9 that I bought, which broke. Those of you guys that remember. And that video took off, and then it was the Umarex Glock videos that did like over 20K views a piece on YouTube that really set everything in motion.
Nice,
So
dude. Those are good numbers.
yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, you'll be surprised if you right now, if you buy a Glock, or even if you get a Glock and you do a review on a Glock on your page, I'm telling you right now, it's that you'd be surprised at the numbers you'll do if you review a Glock.
Yeah, I've got a few Glocks. Maybe I should compare them.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I did a comparison video. But the thing is, I had to take down all those videos because of the policies last year. So
Just
those were
re-upload them.
I think I'm gonna do it, man. I might just
Do it.
think I want to do brand new ones. I'm thinking about doing some breakdown ones that I did before. I did a recent one, I think, for the Sand Viper. But I was like, you know what? I can kind of see where it's going to go, where they're trying to sort of certain things are kind of causing issues for me, like posting certain videos. So it's kind of like, all right, do I just focus on gameplays, or do I start to put some of that content out that made my page kind of just
Gameplays will never get you demonetized, so you're always safe with gameplay stuff.
that's the thing.
With regular YouTube videos, basically don't manipulate the gun. If you show the gun in a static fashion, you're fine. But as soon as you start manipulating it, so adding stuff to it, taking the magazine in and out, folding and unfolding the stock, all of those manipulations, that'll just get the video demonetized. So if the gun's static, you're good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So I'm thinking about doing some more content with the Glock 45. That's a very popular one. Like
Yeah,
people
everyone loves Glock.
love that G45. I'm telling you, there's just something about it. They love it. They like seeing it. They like seeing the reviews on it. They like seeing the unboxings of it. I'm telling you right
People
now,
like what's trendy.
it is super trendy. That is that and the 19X.
Well, do them both. Compare them. Put them both in a vid. Or just rant about them for 30 minutes, cut it into 10 videos. Sorry,
There you
rant
go.
about it for 30 minutes, cut it into 3 10-minute videos.
That's what I did with the Sand Viper, and so far it's been very solid. I'm looking forward to fielding it tomorrow. That's gonna be very fun.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have fun, man.
Yeah,
All right, I think it's time to wind down the podcast. I think we had a good chat tonight. Um,
definitely.
definitely, everyone check out Tactical Arashigami TV, aka Gaza, aka Press Check Puppy, aka real name, which will remain redacted.
Yeah,
All right,
guys.
everyone.
Shout out
Bye.
to Depro Airsoft as per usual for always for being consistent, putting out some pretty much what I consider right now the best um airsoft content in Tokyo. If you don't know who he is,
The best airsoft show, the
there you
best
go.
airsoft podcast.
There you go.
I know there's a lot of people putting out much better content than me in Japan. So big shout out to everyone that's doing a good job on YouTube, on Instagram, and just
Yeah,
putting out stuff that people like to watch. It all helps the
that's the thing.
community.
That's the thing. I think what we're definitely going to be doing in the near future is we're going to be putting out some very good gameplay content very soon. So it's just a matter of time, right?
Yeah, we just need to win a game.
There you go.
That's all
And
we need.
we're gonna get that fire going and get some good engagements that the people are gonna like to see because they love to see those engagements, and that's those
They're
engagements are
engaging.
what. Yeah, there you go. That's how you get those clips that we need to get. So
Indeed.
look out for more of those clips. They're gonna be coming, guys. Gameplay from the both of us. So once again, Defro Airsoft, the man with the plan. Thank you so much.
All right, man.
See you soon,
Thanks for
brother.
having me.
You're welcome anytime. See you on the field.
See you, man.
Right. That was Defro Airsoft, guys. You guys take care. See you on the field. And remember, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the noti bell, all that good jazz.